Aujourd'hui, je vais parler the kind of ridiculous thinking that prevents most people from ever getting any money, okay, whatsoever. And that's the type of negative mentality that I put in the title of the video. Oh my God, the market is down for a whole week/month. We gotta cash out now. Hey, Zempak here. Obviously, I love fire. I'm in fire, and maybe my video title is a bit wonky because let me just be clear from the get-go, right? Should you cash out because early 2022 has been bad for the market? No. Okay, not unless you have the mental fortitude of a small child. No. I'll give you several reasons why. Hopefully at least one of them will be compelling, so subscribe, comment, like, and share, and all that social media nonsense. Or whatever. Yay. Okay, number one, right? All the ups and downs of the market on a day-to-day basis means absolutely nothing. Until until you sell your stocks, assuming you have some, right? I think it's absolutely hilarious. There are tons of people who watch the stock market news fearfully all the time that doesn't even own stocks or own very little, right? In that case, the market going up and down affects them literally not even a little bit, right? One could argue that the effect might be more mid to long term for those people, right? That's true, but on a day-to-day basis, not really, right? So let's limit the affected to people actually invested in the market. Same idea though, right? You don't take any gains or losses, for that matter, until you sell still, right? Look at it like this. The market is down and you sell for whatever reason, but most likely out of fear, right? Then all you've done is guarantee your loss, right? So good job there. Same idea actually applies to gains as well, but most people do not panic when their holdings are up, right? But technically all the paper gains in the world also doesn't matter, right? You can't actually trade stocks for material goods like food or clothes, right? You gotta sell the stocks for money first, right? This scenario is why the dot-com bust affected so many people, right? All that paper wealth someone had for a few short months or a few years evaporated almost instantly. Where did they go? Well, to the people who actually sold their stocks. Well, it was still worth something, eh? So main point here is simple, right? Do you need to sell for the actual cash money, right? Or do you want to sell because you want to predict how the market will go in the short term, right? If the answer is the latter, then actually please exit the stock market. Go away, all right? Being spooked easily is not the sign of a long-term investor. Please leave and leave investing to adults, right? Point number two, I always want to ask people who gets panicky about what they do with that money if it's not in the market. Frankly, personally, I do not have any better alternatives. So the opportunity cost of not being invested is just too great, right? Because I don't pretend I can read the future, right? So if I did exit after whatever arbitrary amount of time has passed in a downturn, say I panic sell after the market's been down for a whole month, right? So long as I don't have the glorious prophetic foresight of Apollo, when exactly would I ever feel like it's correct, it's the right point, to get back in? Does that make sense? Is it after it drops further? That doesn't sound right, right? Is it after it recovers to some arbitrary high point to a point in the past? Is it after it's reached new heights? Is it never? None of these options sounds good to me. Frankly, having so many possible re-entry points would exhaust me mentally. So instead, I just picked the lazy choice. Stay in the market and see where the roller coaster goes, right? Sure, there's a chance that they could all go to hell in a handbasket. But if that's the case, honestly, all of us would have way, way, way bigger problems than, the idea of having a comfortable nest egg, right? So finally, point number three. What's really driving the feeling of unease and panic though, right? These days I'd call it mostly because of the news and social media, right? Two things that I think are at best pretty silly. Don't get me wrong, I still believe in the regular mainstream media, for real news, regular news, right? But financial news sector is just full of doom and gloom, right? There's a fair reason though, obviously, because bad news sells, right? Slow and steady, like the way that fire acolytes like me sell investing and wealth building is just not exciting, okay? Guess what? I'm totally okay with that. Instead of keep talking about market corrections, even though we're barely back to the level the market was like 2 months ago, okay? Hang on one second. Oh my God. So instead of talking about it like that, you can make any chart look worse simply by manipulating the increments on the axes of time and value, right? I assume my audience would know that already because you guys are smart, but don't get me started on social media. Like, frankly, I'm surprised at the echo chamber of human beings who, despite being in a group about financial independence, retiring early, can still be so prone to market panic, right? The reality is that very, very few people have the mental discipline to actually achieve FIRE. I mean, I'm in the FIRE Facebook group of about 80,000 people, and I doubt 1% of that will actually achieve FIRE. It's the 99% of people who have an interest, but then post about, oh my god, market correction, shouldn't we sell type of drivel, right? I mean, I expect that type of comments from the readers of CNBC, but not in a FIRE group. Luckily, at least in the FIRE group, there's plenty of us old-timer who's been invested in stocks for more than a year or two to correct the nervous Nellies, okay? Anyway, fine. I do have one side note. I saw a post recently talking about someone emphasizing that, hey, this time it'll be different. The market won't ever recover because past results don't guarantee future results. That last bit is true, okay? But again, what a depressing thought. I mean, the example given was, hey, look at the Japanese stock market, right? It looks like it has peaked and really just stagnated for the last like 20, 30 years, right? That is also a fact. But let me ask you this. What has Japan invented in the last 40 years? I mean, really innovated. The PlayStation? I mean, I can't think of anything else. Not a knock on Japan, but the US is on top of the world because of its ability to continuously innovate right now. And that's partly culture, partly how we value failure, or really just don't hate it, and a whole bunch of other more complex social factors, right? So yeah, I'd bet on this country still, even right now when we seem to be at our partisan worst. Sure, nothing's ever guaranteed in life, but that's like saying, well, everybody dies, right? So why bother doing anything if we all end up in the ground anyway? That is just a ridiculously childish sentiment, right? All we can ever do is move forward, charge forward, overcome obstacles, right? Being able to get to financial independence is not the end. It is just a testament that you can overcome any obstacle that most people can't figure out, but you can do it decades earlier. So be proud of yourself to be on this journey and make better decisions, stay invested, and most importantly, be greedy when other people are fearful. Cheers, I'll approach it.